Welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Sabu the God. I greet one and all in Namaste and peace. Shalom. Hotep. Salam. Stillness and blessings. Love and light. Health and wholeness. And without stillness and blessings. Love and light. Health and wholeness. May we be cleansed, activated from the base chakra to the crown chakra and wholeness. Peace and blessings. Stillness. Love and light. Stillness. Health and wholeness. Stillness. Stillness and blessings, everybody. Love and light. Give y'all a little sage incense too. Health and wholeness. Spirit guides, ancestors. Alright, self. Protect this transmission. Bring about the highest message possible. I ain't get to touch base with y'all yesterday. I was doing a lot of running around. By the time I got in, it was, matter of fact, speaking of that, 2-3 days ago I did a video and a flock of geese passed by. So unconsciously I recorded the time. It was 7:45. The following day, the same flock of geese came by when I was doing the video. It's all recorded for those who've been rocking with me. 7:45 they passed by in the V formation. Yesterday, even though I was running, I was running late with doing this, and this was more important to me to get it done because it was eating at me. I gotta get a video done. I came out here to do the video. I set up, got my fire going, everything. It was 7:45. Same geese flying over in the V formation. My point is, pay attention to the synchronicities. Whatever state you're in, if you're watching this, play 7:45. It may hit where you at. Who knows? But it was 7:45, 3 days in a row. Due to the fact that I'm doing this video here earlier, I'm gonna be paying attention later on tonight at 7:45 to see if those geese come through. I also looked it up in my Animal Spirits book. And for those who be having, I don't want to say strange, I don't want to say weird, but for those who be having contact with animals that would be unnormal, invest in your an animal spirit guide book, and might want to see what's going on with that. But we're gonna get into the ADK loop as we've been doing, Law of Life, and we at the section called the 7 bodies. And for those, I'm gonna say it now due to the fact that I'm already in the process of recording. So for those who skip the meditation that I be doing prior to going into whatever the lesson gonna be for the day, then in this particular video, the illustrations that's being shown is pertaining to what I'm gonna be talking about. So for those who skip the 2-3 minute meditation, then you're gonna be missing what coincide with what I'm gonna be reading about today, according about the 7 bodies. And that's our section for the day. 7 bodies. 7 bodies. What are the 7 bodies? You're about to see. For an individualization to embody or incarnate in flesh upon the physical plane and go through the experience world must have the various bodies, 7 in number. So if you think about our chakras, it's not necessarily talking about the chakras, but it's talking about a system that the chakras is connected to. 7 in number. Each body is created out of the substance from that realm in which it is to function. So it's like our chakras. Each chakra is pertaining to a specific consciousness according to the realm that consciousness exists, if that makes sense. The individualized presence, and I'm gonna back up. Each body is created out of the substance from the realm in which it is to function. The individualized source or presence of God, Creator, Most High, whatever you want to call it, or flame is projected forth into that realm. It becomes the core around which is drawn the substance of that realm, forming or creating the body. In the beginning of individualization, the flame was projected forth into the realm of primal substance. Like I said before, if you don't know these words, write them down so you can learn things, so you can educate yourself as you're being educated. In the beginning of individualization, the flame was projected forth into the realm of primal substance, and about it was drawn the substance of that realm, creating what is sometimes termed the electronic body. That's another word. From it pours forth rays of light constantly, by which it renders service in the universe. It knows only perfection and is ever pouring it forth, expanding it. It is not cognizant of the imperfection of the outer self. Each individual externalized, each one of us externalized, is a part of God in an action similar to a flame that is taken from a large fire and it becomes a fire in itself. Yet it is part of the first fire, although individualized. It's like taking a torch and put it in a fire, and then the torch become lit. Even though your torch is lit with fire, it's still a part of the original, or it's lit with even though your torch is lit with a flame, it's still a part of the original fire from which it came. It is not cognizant of the imperfection of the outer self. Each individual is a part of God in an action similar to a flame that is taken from a large fire, and it becomes a fire in itself. That made me think about Psalms 86:7. We are all gods, the children of the Most High. The accumulated good, that energy used in service both at inner levels as well as during physical embodiment, forms the causal body. That manifests in spheres of colors around the electronic body, the causal body. That's another word, write it down. When one has given sufficient attention to the presence or source and the 4 lower bodies are purified, or your 4 chakras, you can think of them as your chakras, your 4 lower chakras are purified, that accumulated good will be released through the outer self, through your higher self, but only to fulfill the divine plan. It is released through this golden radiance around the ray of light from the presence, a silver cord, by the higher self. It is drawn forth through love and cannot be drawn forth just by determination of the intellect or feeling of the outer self or sheer will. Yet, by determination of the intellect and outer feelings, one can draw universal substance to a point to produce certain manifestations in the outer. To incarnate, to take physical embodiment, bodies are required in the various realms. Therefore, a flame of core is projected down from the individualized present into the lower realm, and about it is drawn a body from the substance of that realm in likeness of the electronic body, but of a lower or step-down vibratory action. Think of it as a step-down transformer. That is the body called by various teachings: higher self, better self, Christ self, higher mental body, holy Christ self. It is the discriminative, directing intelligence for the human being, the outer self. The personality. It is aware of the imperfect manifestations of disease, distress, trials, and tribulations. Hey, bird. It does not accept imperfection of the outer self, although it is cognizant of it. It is the still small voice, as some call it. Premonitions and promptings of people have come from the higher self or Christ self, by which he tries to give the solution to the higher self, outer self. Most times we ain't hearing because we're not listening with the inner ear. To adjust conditions in the outer, it calls to and draws forth whatever energy is required from the presence. Individuals constantly get promptings, which may just be a gentle prompting in the heart, but most of them are not followed. I call it glimpses. People miss their glimpses. When it's time to be awakened in this era of woke, people been missing their glimpses and finding themselves having to be retaught things that we should be mastering by now. After one has been prompted, they usually doubt or let in suggestions that shouldn't. And wait a minute, let me back up. After one has been prompted, they usually doubt it or let in suggestions that he or she shouldn't do so and so if we had the prompting. Life always gives promptings to everyone, to hardened criminals and even the savages. 3 promptings are given as a rule unless the first or second are acted upon. And that's why I say things 3 times when I'm trying to emphasize something or nail it in. A flame of core is projected for the etheric body, that's another word. And the substance of the etheric realm is drawn together around the core, creating the etheric body. When it is seen with the extended or inner sight, it appears as a soft but firm light. Originally, it was perfect. In it are contained the memories, and there are recorded all records of both good and evil of the experiences of the outer self through all embodiments, all your lifetimes. There is no permanent record but good. All else will eventually have to be transmuted. The discordant experiences have caused wounds or tears in the etheric body, or the negative karma we have built up have caused wounds or tears in our etheric body. These, nature heals and patches over as best it can, but the scars remain. Then in some future time or embodiment, under certain circumstances and situations, under certain circumstances or similar experiences, when undue pressure is placed on that scar by similar experiences, like an incision, it gives away or bursts open and manifests in disease, great distress, or disharmony, arguments, fights, what have you. We know the routine. This is not understood, and there seems no explanation of it from the outer sense of consciousness. Deep feeling definitely makes a record in the etheric body. Likewise, it's the mental, by some called lower mental. Mental body, likewise, is the mental body created from the substance of the mental realm, the realm of that particular vibratory rate. The mind, the mental activity functions through that body. Although it is not seen by the physical sight, all accept that they have a mind and would be greatly insulted if told otherwise. Just think of telling your mind that it's not a mind. In it are all the accretions or all the accumulations of human concepts, opinions, conclusions drawn from partial truths and information. That is what forms the intellect. The mind has the capacity to form conclusions from fragmentary information without looking back to the original pattern of divine plan. Through that activity has come about the present concepts and distortions of truth. The mind was created to be a servant of the individualized flame, the real you. The mind was made to be a servant to the real me, and not the master. It was created to be the instrument to create and hold the pattern or cup, the vision for a physical manifestation, to still the mental body, to stop thinking, stare into the sky, or when sitting by a lake, stare into it. Also, there is created the emotional body from the substance of that particular realm. That is the feeling world. Its action was to energize a thought, which is the pattern, making it a thing in outer form. Y'all see this? Mental body, emotional body, etheric body, causal body. The emotional body extends for 3 feet out around the physical body, and with most people, very much further. It too is not seen with the physical sight, but everyone knows that they have feelings. It is through the feelings that a person is aware of hate, discord, or love and kindliness. It's like when you being out and you out running, for those who, when I used to hang out, I used to know when I'm around foul energy, those who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Many people have had the experience of perceiving or having the awareness of a person approaching them from behind before they was even seen or heard, or made aware of through the physical senses. It's like me right now, through my disciplinary practices, spiritual disciplinary practices. I'm having this experience a lot where I hear my phone ring inside me before and a few minutes later my phone will go to ringing. That awareness took place through the feelings when the other person's emotional body touched theirs, although some feet away. In the emotional or astral, as termed by some, in the emotional body or astral body is the accumulation of all discordantly qualified energy, not only of this present embodiment, but of your previous or past lifetimes as well, whether you believe in it or not. That is what is termed karma, bad karma. All that has to be redeemed before complete freedom is attained. Therein lie the impure and wrong desires, passions, lusts, greed, selfishness, and the many other similar qualities of mankind. Individuals may have as many as 200 openings or vortices in the emotional body, whereas there should be only 7. The function of the emotional body should be to intensify the God or the source or the higher self feelings and desires in the physical world or expression. I am the majesty of God in expression. I am the light of a million men. I am that I am. I am the light of the world. Human self is humanly charged energy which you have drawn forth into your world, the mental and feeling worlds. This is your human soul which must be redeemed. Soul control. There seem to be different interpretations of the meanings of soul. Some think of it as that part of an individual not seen, the God side of him. Therefore it must be good and pure. In other words, the term is used in different ways. We shall think of it as the thought and feeling nature, the consciousness of the individuality in the outer. Therefore, of human consciousness and not the divine spark. Spirit usually refers to the individualized presence and action of God, the flame of the person, and the outer consciousness and expression form the personality. Spirit, as well as soul, is used among mankind rather loosely and in abstraction with different meanings. Check. Many people's mouths are partially open most of the time, unconsciously of course. This signifies a lack of holding emotional control, which leaves the emotional body open to the surrounding forces. Y'all catch that? I ain't gonna repeat it. The emotional body should be held in control and the mouth closed, not in a hard line, but in a sweet way. Children should be taught this. So we walk around tense all the time. The physical body, as all the other bodies, is drawn from the substance of its realm. The physical substance is drawn around the core or seed, and thus has created the physical body. Of it more is generally known because it can be perceived by the physical senses, yet it is created not by physical means, but by inner actions or unseen powers. Its function is to perform physical acts or express in the world of form, although originally not ordained to labor as in the present condition of mankind. And the physical bodies are outpictured the imperfections, distortions, and dis-ease of the qualities and actions of the emotional, mental, and etheric bodies. The causes lying there in these inner bodies which manifest in the physical. What's within shows up in your body. The dividing line means from the human into light. In the human body, it is just above the solar plexus. The dividing line is the Christ self where there is no more human and you are free. The heart. So, everything physical has its etheric counterpart. Everything physical has its etheric counterpart. Everything physical has its etheric counterpart. That means everything physical has an energetic counterpart, mate, frequency to complement it. There is the physical body, and interpenetrating and extending out and around it is the etheric. Then the mental, then the emotional, it being the largest in size. These all interpenetrate each other. They all need to be purified. The Christ self, higher self, causal body, and electronic body. The higher self, causal body, and electronic body of the I Am's presence are pure and perfect. The light pattern of the physical body is in the etheric, or is in the etheric. The light pattern of the physical body is in the etheric body, the points of light. The light pattern is the cohesive power of your flesh body. That is pure and is the connection of the source with the physical body. Considering the 7 bodies as the planes, we shall put them in this order. And I'm going to show y'all this. Electronic body, causal body, Christ self, etheric. Electronic, causal, Christ self, etheric, mental, emotional, flesh. The upper 3 planes or bodies are and always have been perfect and pure. The etheric, the bridge, is the connecting link from the outer to the inner. It is through the etheric that the outer consciousness make connection with or enters into the higher realms. Be ye perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect. The lower 3 are the outer action. The physical is what is perceptible to the physical senses, the outer or physical action. The emotional and mental are the inner action of the outer. They are not seen with the physical sight. They are not concrete from a physical standpoint. Yet they make up the functions and outer action of man. Of the inner and outer, the higher self or Christ self and mental body are similar or correspond with each other. The mental body is or should be the vehicle of the Christ self in the outer, otherwise known as the Mikaba. The causal and emotional bodies are similar even as to shape. The causal body is spherical in shape, the emotional is oval. The other bodies are the shape of the physical. The causal body is the repository for all constructively qualified energy. The emotional body contains the imperfectly qualified energy. The emotional body contains the imperfectly qualified energy. The physical body should be an outpicture of the source or the God self in outer form and is connected through the etheric. Know thyself that you are God inside and out. You are not that physical body. I always say, I am not this body I am in. You are a projected ray, a precipitated light, ray direct from the Godhead. The physical body is the projection of light. You are a world unto yourself. The center of the light of the physical body is the heart, and every heartbeat is a release of another pulse of light from the presence. The first atom of the heart is the flame from the presence, an extension from the presence. A heart inverted becomes a flame. The heart is projected from the sun. The heart is a flame upside down. It makes a cup. It is even so with your beating heart. Do you understand what keeps it beating? You have confidence that it will do so tomorrow and in future days, but how much do you understand about it? That tiny flame in the heart and activity of the sacred fire keeps your heart beating. Even your scientists have discovered that there is a flame in the heart, and it was announced in the newspaper some 15, 20, 30 years ago. Medical scientists know they cannot operate on the heart as on other organs and have the patient live. It is self-sustaining and perpetuates itself. Well, now they can, because when it was wrote, these procedures weren't ready. That's how old this book is. The light in your heart is the greatest magnet. Attention to the presence. The light in the ascendant ones causes the light in the heart to expand. As a flower unfolds its petal, your life is anchored in your heart as it's calling for the release of itself. The brain is registering the faculty of intelligence that comes from that light ray from the presence, which is intelligent light substance. It is light in the brain that enables one to think. The brain is the physical organism through which the mind functions and which contacts the outer and imperfect ideas. It is the point of contact with the outer. The brain structure is the receiver and distributor. The heart is the director. Clear the substance of your brain. Attune it to the higher. It is because of the density that it is not attuned. We need to quicken the cell structure of our brain. It is imperative that your brain be flooded with light. Use the violet flame through it. Energy is stored at the base of the brain. If it were not for that stored energy, we could not speak. Through the nervous system flows liquid light. And essence flows through your nerves like a liquid light. Science has discovered a liquid golden light flowing through the nerves as the blood flows through the vessels. Seen it in the Matrix, seen it in the Last Dragon. That is life force, light coming from your individualized presence of God. I am. It is light, your life flowing down from the heart of your presence into your physical body. By some teachings, it is called the silver cord. Nerve fluid circulates through the body the same as the blood. Nerve fluid circulates according to feelings. If happy or depressed, it is affected accordingly. The pulsation of the nerve fluid is stronger than the blood. It is golden light. The nerve fluid that flows through your body is the tree of life, self-sustained. The nervous system being like a network of fine wires, which are message bearers of thought and feeling impulses to all parts of the body. It is easily affected by drugs and alcohol. The blood in your veins is red because of perfection in the atomic structure. Otherwise, it would be golden. In some children, when born, the blood is a deep pink, showing the purity. What is acting in those physical bodies? First life, then mental and feeling bodies. When you come to the perfecting of your world, that energy has to flow largely through your body. There is a trinity of action in everything, including your body. Blood circulation is 1/3, fluid and nerves 1/3, points of light, which are currencies of energy, is 1/3. The hearing, sight, and heart form a trinity of action. It is the currents of energy flowing up and down your spine that keeps it upright. The physical body is a condenser for the light rays. The body is but the anchorage to the earth. The physical body is a battery. Man has wasted energy. He can't recharge his body. And to raise the vibratory action of the higher body means you must give attention to things higher than the human realm. You can cause every organ to function perfectly. The functions of the body are carried on unconsciously mostly, but are self-conscious procedure. What is that procedure? So-called involuntary breath, as well as the functions of the body, are regulated and controlled by the higher self and the body elemental. The food we eat, drink, are taken up by them. Yes, even the substance which we should not be taken up is taken up by them. The higher self and body elemental take care of that too and protect the body as much possible for mankind. Yet for some it is not so, that they are not able to partake of those things. The reason for it is that the higher self refuses to handle those things because in former embodiments they have made certain attainments which they do not remember and should go on progressing instead of accepting the conditions of general mankind. Your feet represent your understanding. Your hands represent reception and giving, perfection of life. The eyes represent vision of perfection. Raise your eyes above imperfection to your higher self. Swelling of the flesh is caused by gas in the cells. When there is a swelling one day and it is gone the next day, that shows it is not a dense physical substance. Your physical body should be your temple of light. Feel your higher self in blazing light above you. Visualize light flowing through your nerves, clothing them in a golden radiance. Your flesh brilliant in light with golden radiance. And with that, that's going to complete today's segment. Stillness and blessing, love and light, health and wholeness, to one and to all. And we rocked out with the whole incense Like, share, and subscribe. $ SAIWOODAGOD. That's $ Sawu the God. Y'all be blessed.